Yes, I Am the Veteran, hosted by Brandy Pett.
Welcome, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hopefully everybody's had a good week. I know mine have been getting wilder and wilder these days. Every time I say I'm going to do less, I feel like I'm tempting fate at that point. But hopefully everybody had a grateful Memorial Day weekend. And how's everybody doing? So we actually have Mighty Hero Homes on with us tonight with Drew Walston. They've been some amazing guests before, so we're very happy to have them on again. And you guys all know veteran homelessness is very near and dear to my heart. I mean, Miss Veteran America and working with Final Salute and raising funds for homeless women, veterans, and their children kind of would just open the door. And it's absolutely something that's not going away, and we need to be our brothers and sisters' keeper. So before I do bring Drew on, I did actually look at a study in 2023. This is from va.gov. It found that nearly 36,000, I believe it's actually 37,000 veterans are homeless, an increase of over 7.5% in 1 year, which is wild. And to be quite honest, I believe that a lot of these studies are not entirely accurate just because of how they do a lot of the counts, especially with homeless women veterans, with the hood housing. I believe, as I understand, the counts are only done in the evening. And a lot of women veterans, they tend to leave if they don't feel comfortable being around a lot of males in a place that they maybe don't feel as safe. So I believe that 37,000 is probably significantly higher, to be quite honest. And fun fact, a woman or a veteran that is couch surfing at their friend's house is actually not deemed homeless by the VA. So just some food for thought. But I am going to go ahead and introduce our tonight's guest, Mr. Drew Walston. How are you doing today, brother?
Fantastic. How are you? Thanks so much for having me tonight.
Yeah, it's always great to have you guys back on. You're always doing such amazing things. I can't even keep up with all the events you guys are doing. You've got to be one busy guy.
We are. We've been blessed with great opportunities. We've had great partners come along beside us and offer assistance, and great partners like yourself helping get the word out. As you mentioned in your opening, it's a travesty what we're dealing with. It's not just a national crisis; it's a stain on our country, and it's going to take all of us working together in concert to we're not just looking to put a dent into veteran homelessness. We're looking to end it, to stop it, to eradicate it, and it's going to take a mighty effort to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, and you're absolutely right. I mean, it's not something that you can work on it for 1 year and then, oh, it's probably okay. No, it's a number that is wild how high it is. And the fact that I don't really feel that enough people are really doing a lot to actively be a part of ending that. So I absolutely commend what you and your organization are doing, just because of the fact that it's something that's truly needed right now, especially more than ever.
Yeah, we're very, very grateful. Look forward to sharing with you this evening some of the things we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So your organization, so tell me a little bit about your mission combating veteran homelessness. Because I know you guys have many, many arms of what you do.
Yeah, at the end of the day, and I've told my staff many times, I'm very proud of the fact that we have prevented mission creep over the years, that our focus is to provide affordable, permanent housing to homeless veterans, which we believe is the only solution to ending veteran homelessness. And our model is such that actually, while there is a role for temporary and transitional housing, our model is to take a veteran from homeless to homeowner in 2 years, after being a good citizen on our base for 2 years, learning to be healthy again and to find their purpose again, learning skills and traits, reintegrating into society. We want that veteran to be earning equity from the very beginning, and after 2 years, to be able to qualify for becoming the homeowner and being the permanent owner of that home. But in all of our models, that veteran who moves into there, as long as they're a good citizen, they'll never have to move. So we are a permanent solution to a problem that temporary and transitional housing alone is not going to end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of us get to a point that we think that we could never be eligible to get into a home. I'll be renting forever, or if I can't even get a house like to stay in, how can I actually own this home? So you giving them that opportunity is truly life-changing. And so what made you like really want to combat it? Like, was there something that, you just like your aha moment where you really wanted to actively do so?
Well, to be honest, when the Lord spoke to my heart over 4 years ago now, and said, Drew, I'm going to utilize you to eradicate veteran homelessness in the United States. I'm having not been a veteran. I've never been homeless at the time. I didn't know a homeless veteran. Obviously, that notion caught me by surprise. And if I'm being honest, I spent a year in disobedience trying to negotiate with the Lord to convince him he'd called the wrong person, that I didn't have the time or the resources or the credibility in this space to have impact. And after a year of unsuccessful negotiation, I followed the advice, or sought to follow the advice from my pastor at the time, that said, great advice that I've used and given many times, which is, if you feel called to serve, don't feel like you have to start something or create something. Go find out where people are doing great work and join them there. So that really was my intention, was to go find someone that I felt was on the right path, that had the trajectory to impact veteran homelessness, and write them a check or volunteer my time or lend to them my business experience, be able to check the box, say, Lord, I've done what you've called me to do, and then go do what Drew wanted to do. But quickly after I began to do a deep dive into the services that were available, I realized, and this is no disrespect to the many, many, many great organizations that are helping veterans, but I couldn't find a single organization that I could say, these folks, they've got the solution. They're on the right path to put a stop to this. That's when the Lord gave me the vision of Mighty Hero Homes, by establishing bases where 84 veterans will come live in a base environment, a gated community, if you will, with homes that they can own, with central services, on-base amenities, on-base job opportunities, on-base health care. And from that, he has brought together an amazing staff to be able to do what we believe, again, is the right steps to putting into this. It's not going to be immediate. It's not going to be easy. But we believe that the traction that we're gaining now is going to provide the blueprint to one day being able to say veteran homelessness is no longer a problem in America.
And I think that's just so commendable that, you had that calling and you didn't give up on it. And I mean, look how many people you're truly changing their lives by doing this. Like, my hats are entirely off to you. Well, so I am showing their webpage now. I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. I'm just saying, I personally, I can take credit for one thing, and that's taking the first step of obedience. Everything else is just come by an amazing group of people who have similar callings, a great team of people. We've assembled great partnerships from the construction industry, through engineering, through services, healthcare, and we've got really a great team. And thank you for pulling up a portion there of our website. And I encourage listeners to go to mightyherohomes.org. A lot of information on there, and we would love to connect with you in a way that you feel that you want to be involved.
Absolutely. And I see that you guys are not only looking for veterans, but you're also looking for ambassadors and people to work specifically with your organization. Is that true?
It is. Now, we'll go into our fundraising, what we think is an unprecedented fundraising campaign shortly that identifies patriot givers and ambassador givers. But this is not a VA solution. This is not a Mighty Hero Home solution. This is not a XYZ Veteran Services Organization issue. We believe that the solution lies in the hands of the American people, the American patriot, and we're going to seek, through what we call Operation Because They Deserve Better, an unprecedented campaign to raise funds that's really going to have impact. And I'll share a little bit more of that in a little bit later on.
I love that you use the "They Deserve Better" like as part of your branding with a lot of these events, because you're right. I mean, they do deserve better, and the fact that you're giving people hope, you're giving them people that sense of purpose. It truly changes. Is more than just having a place to stay. Like, you're really potentially changing their life.
This bracelet here says, because they deserve better. These 4 words drive everything we do. I wear this bracelet 365 days a year, as do those who are close to our organization. And in the days where we feel like we're not getting enough traction, or something that we really thought was going to be great didn't happen, those four words ring loudly in my spirit to keep us moving forward, because they do deserve better. Everyone deserves a home, but those who wore the cloth of our nation, fought to defend our freedoms, it is a travesty to know that they're sleeping in the streets and in the woods tonight, and that's just not acceptable.
You're right. Absolutely. It breaks my heart every time I see a post from Vets for Success, and they're, explaining that if a female, like a veteran, is sleeping on the park bench with their child, or, on a bridge or somewhere, it's really not safe. And, everyone deserves to have a safe place to stay. Like that's a basic human right. But unfortunately, it's not afforded to everyone. And people seem to assume that, to be homeless, you have to look a certain type of way. What are common reasons a veteran or anybody that you've met through your work can find themselves homeless, or that maybe you've heard?
That's a great question. I would have answered this question differently 4 years ago, but being into it as we are now, and having met with homeless veterans in their encampments, honestly, only by the grace of God are people like you and I not homeless. One bad decision, one calamity, one turn of events. We all would like to think that, we're smart enough and we're insulated. That would never happen to us. But 35,000 homeless veterans who are sleeping on the streets tonight also thought that. And because of one decision or one thing that happened to them, or a husband that left them, or a wife that lost a child, or many, many reasons. And we're going to show a quick video clip here in just a moment that shows a continuum of how not all homeless veterans, but how many homeless veterans go from a dream of serving their country to combat, to a difficult retransition back to civilian life, down paths that will drive homelessness. Of course, a lot of people think immediately of drugs and alcohol, and drugs and alcohol do play a role in it. But I've come to believe that it's not a leading cause for homelessness. I think I shared with you last time, I have a thyroid problem, and I take a little bitty pill every single morning that makes me feel completely normal. Many veterans on the street have thyroid issues, or high blood pressure, or diabetes that are treatable and solvable with basic medicines, but because they don't have availability to healthcare, and they don't have availability to these prescriptions that make people feel normal, they'll self-medicate through drugs and alcohol just to make them feel able to get through the day. So by bringing these folks onto our base, giving them an environment where they can not only get healthy but thrive, and of course receive the basic amenities of medication like that, we believe we will prevent them from re-entering the cycle. And unfortunately, many of our transitional and temporary solutions are fine for a day or a night or a week or a month or 6 months. But the number and the percentage of those who come into these environments go back out on the streets in an alarming rate. So again, ours is home ownership. Put them in a home where they know that they're going to stay, where they have neighbors, they have connection to the community, where they can get involved in a local school, trade school, or otherwise, get involved in a church, meet friends outside the base, have community activities on the base where the community comes onto the base for events and training and challenges. And then the veterans also go off base and integrate into the community. But veterans, anyone will become homeless for a wide variety of reasons. And if you want to cue up that video clip, we'll see a little bit of why, at least some do.
Okay, so this is going to be for an upcoming event, and it's also a little bit more about the Mighty Hero Homes mission. I'll go ahead and play that now.
The story of a homeless veteran does not begin under a bridge or in a cardboard box on the street. It begins as a proud young American warrior who wore the cloth of our nation, and then something happened. We cannot leave them behind. Please join the Mighty Hero Homes effort to permanently house the over 35,000 homeless vets in America.
You saw in that continuum, the first depiction is a child playing a little green army man and dreaming about one day serving our country, all the way through enlisting and being trained, combat, coming back home, facing challenges that many couples face, but sometimes the PTSD issues and TBI exacerbates those or compounds those issues, oftentimes leading to divorce. And divorce is a significant cause of homelessness of one or the other persons in the couple, to the drugs and alcohol. But towards the end of that video, you see counseling, and you see the reception of a home in a new environment. Those people that were holding those signs, we did that intentionally. Those are people within our community who have committed support for us. And so rather than just flash those still images up on the screen, we felt like that was a show of support that our communities and the people of this nation are going to hold up our veterans, and are going to support our veterans through these times. And everyone's going to be different. We have quickly learned that we can't create an assembly line approach that everybody gets in at the same place and receives the same service and the same treatment, and we can expect the same outcome. We just got to love on them. We just got to meet them at the place of their need, get them to the point where not only they are healthy, but they can begin helping others. And we find one of my personal mottos is that we are never a better version of ourselves than when we're serving others in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. So when we get people that are able to serve and help others, we're going to see that somewhat flattened line of improvement just go vertical, and the multiplication of that's going to be amazing.
You're absolutely right. And I mean, a lot of people think that you have to be a veteran to be homeless. I was homeless on active duty. I was air evac. The Fisher House wouldn't take me. The Center for the Intrepid wouldn't take me because I was not combat injured, even though I had a triple limb salvage, and I was air evac. Actually, even my wheelchair was confiscated when I was air evac, but I had nowhere to go. And I mean, that feeling of just thinking your branch had your back and you had somewhere that they would want you, you couldn't say, I couldn't stay in the building because there was so much mold on the walls. Like, I was getting very sick because of the amount of morphine I was on, because I was recovering still. I had just had a skin graft and a bilateral fasciotomy, which is painful isn't the word I'd like to use. But at the end of the day, that feeling of just, what do I do now? It's horrifying, and it's far more wider reaching than people realize. And I did want to quickly bring in our guest host. I know he's quite busy today. So this is Todd Glace. This is our former guest who is currently racing the NASCAR Whelen Modified Series. So bring him on now. How are you doing, Todd?
Hey, how are you, Brandy?
I'm here.
I'm here too.
So I know you've been pretty busy. So how's everything been going since the last time we had you on about a few months back? I know that you've been doing a lot.
Well, things have been really good, actually. But I want to take a side note and say, Drew, pleasure to meet you. And I've been trying to listen off and on. And I think it's tremendously awesome what you're doing. And my dad is sitting next to me. He's 85. He's a longtime Army vet. And I've been sharing with my mom and dad and family sitting here what you're doing, Drew. And that's more than commendable. That's just awesome. I just want to say that real quick. And wow, our whole family's sitting here, and we're very moved having listened in. But as far as me and the racing goes, 2 solid races in a row, 2 top 10 finishes. Not bad considering it's been 7 years since I've raced, and there's 20 some cars out there. So
and you're Air Force also. You're just kidding. I'm teasing you. I'm Air Force.
Oh, is Drew Air Force as well?
No, he's not. I'm just giving you a hard time because
just you and me. Yeah, Brandy and I both Air Force. I don't hold grudges against my dad. He was 101st Airborne. He saw some crazy stuff over in Germany, that's for sure. But things are going good. It was just difficult getting here to Pennsylvania from Colorado. The truck broke down in Kansas, but with my family, and that was quite the experience. But we made it here in a rental, and the truck's being hauled here next week to the dealership, and they're going to help me get getting a new set of wheels because I got to have a truck to pull the race car and my
Well,
trailers. So
that's important. I mean, it's not like you could race it,
that's
although
pretty
I'd
important.
be tempted. They don't look down on you for racing your car on the road, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
See, I like your new race car that you had. I had to show it off a little bit. Look at you, all official. Got your chevrons on
Yeah.
there.
I like the other picture better though, the one without me.
What?
Just the car.
Just the car? Well, your face is on
Uh,
it too. That kind of goes hand in.
I like the one with just the car. But
Oh.
yeah, this has been exciting. 2 races in so far and 2 top 10 finishes. So having a good time
Awesome.
and having a
So,
blast. So
did you have a question for Drew tonight? I know that you popped in a little later because I know you had some scheduling conflict. But did you have a question you'd like to ask Drew?
well, unfortunately, I missed the very beginning. My sister was nice enough to do like a welcome home party, and so we were kind of occupied. But so Drew, how does one inquire or get qualified to take advantage of what you all are doing for vets, and how do they find out about this?
Yep, great. Well, firstly, thank you for your service, and please pass that along to your father as well. And thank you for your kind words. We're in a fight for everybody's life, and we need all the encouragement and all the support and assistance that we can get. And I'm very grateful for that. And I want to talk to you offline about how we can get a logo on your car, so we can
Yes.
continue to bring awareness to folks that can get involved in helping in a meaningful way. But in terms of qualification for services on a Mighty Hero home base, if you raised your right hand and you swore to serve our country, you qualify. We have had a lot of debate about discharge status and length of service and this war or that war. But at the end of the day, for us, if you served our country, you're our hero, and we will make a place for you on our base. Everyone will have responsibilities to be good citizens on that base, but as long as people will abide by very basic, treat everybody with respect, love your neighbor, then that's our qualifications will be met. But we will not discriminate against anyone based on branch, service, discharge. We have found that the fastest growing segment of homelessness amongst our veteran population is single mothers with children.
Yes.
And while our initial plans were to have a few family homes or a few homes that would accommodate that, we're learning and planning to put perhaps an entire squadron or a couple of squadrons that will provide residence for mother and single children. I'll tell you, this is a travesty enough for someone, a young guy like you or an old man like me, to be on the streets. But when you think about a mother with children not having a place to protect her babies and not having the security of a home for these children to grow up in, that's heartbreaking. And that should be so urgent in our country's priorities. But yeah, we're here to stand in that gap.
Yes, sir. Yes, you are. And yes, we are. I mean, your advocacy doesn't, and watching out for your brothers and sisters doesn't end with your service. And I'm sure Todd can agree on that. I mean, we actually ended up meeting, we were introduced because I served with someone that in Canon that he served with. I believe it was Luke. Was that right? Was she Luke?
Yeah.
But yeah, she was in bioenvironmental, and we used to go out with them on F6, like all different emergencies and food inspections. And she connected us, and I'm very thankful that we could be connected in that way. And it's just one of those things. Like that's what I love about being an advocate. I've met so many amazing people doing things and all different types of things. But veteran homelessness, definitely, my heart is there, especially because of the fact that it is an extremely fast-growing demographic. And it's something that we could really put a giant dent in if we were all working together with a similar goal. And I know that you were talking a little bit about your home bases. Tell us a bit about your pilot squadron partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. We've adopted a crawl, walk, run strategy. And one of the first homeless veteran, actually the first homeless veteran that I met in an encampment. And when I say an encampment, this was a homeless community. It was just over the hill of a Chick-fil-A, right across the street from a hospital, right on a busy thoroughfare. But just over the hill was an encampment for homelessness in general that did occupy homeless veterans. And we met Randy. And Randy's story is shown there on our website as well. But while I was sitting talking to Randy, it was hard for me to pay attention to what Randy was saying. He was a combat veteran in the Vietnam conflict. The skin was literally peeling off of his face due to sun exposure, and pointed out to me over my shoulder where 2 people had died of an overdose just a week prior. Come to find out, that incident of those deaths led to that camp being destroyed the week after I met him initially. So we've helped Randy. When we met Randy initially, Randy had no DD-214, no ID, been in the woods for about 5 years, and our chaplain, Director of Chaplaincy Services, took the lead, Charles Jackson, to get Randy the identifications that he needed, took him back and forth to the VA so many times. And again, no disrespect to the VA, but when you think about when you're bring someone out of homelessness and the VA is asking for their email address or their home address,
Yes.
and things that's like, we need a little more sensitivity, and we need a little more effort to help us with this non-cookie cutter solution. But nonetheless, we followed Randy, have helped Randy with clothing, job interviews, things of that nature through the year. We've walked through Randy being assaulted and beat up and broken hip and robbed and scammed. So to answer your question, we are building our first model home here in Henry County. And we're going to dedicate that home to Randy. So Randy is not only going to be off the streets, he's going to have a permanent home from which he never has to move. And we've positioned this in a place, gracious donation from a prior public official here in Henry County. But we're positioning this next to other county or city-owned land that's going to be a park. So our effort is to work with the city for Randy to be the overseer of this park and to help keep this park clean and help keep this park safe. So other kids and families can come see this park. So we're helping Randy write his own story, but we're going to do our part by providing Randy a home, again, from which he never has to move. Moving from the crawl of building our model home, which will give us photography opportunities, videography opportunities, help us validate our processes, our cost assessments. Then we're moving to a squadron, which will be on 1 acre land in DeKalb County, just south of Atlanta. And our concept here is to have a public-private partnership with the Housing Authority of DeKalb County to build a 12-home squadron with a squadron activity center so that we can bring in 12 homeless veterans. DeKalb County is not unlike a lot of large cities, but unique from the standpoint that it has hundreds and hundreds of HUD-VASH vouchers that are unused because there's no one that will accept them, or there's no one that's seeking to claim them. Then there's hundreds and hundreds of homeless veterans living on the street, and then there's no connection. So we're going to work with the DeKalb County Housing Authority to build housing-specific squadrons or citadels, which is 2 or 3 squadrons, up to including full bases. And we think we could build up to 3 bases in DeKalb County easily, and house literally hundreds of homeless veterans in that county. But the first pilot squadron will be similar to our home for Randy, to bring in 12 veterans, get them off the streets, then begin to learn from them. Is the house designed correct? Do we want the light switch on the other side? Does this window being here, does this bother you from a PTSD standpoint? Is it, are the amenities what you need? And then how you're getting along with one another. Are the houses facing each other? What we think, is that actually coming to pass? Is the Squadron Activity Center, which is an extension of these 12 homes, right in the middle of them, is it meeting your needs? So we're going to learn a lot from that. And then ultimately, happy to announce we have just finalized our land agreement with Henry County to build our first base, 20.3 acres. We'll be building our first base right here in Henry County. Our discussion with the VA suggested when we open up this first base of 84 homes, there'll be 1,000 people standing in line to take those first 84 homes, and we believe that to be true. We are in a hyper stage of fundraising. I'll talk a little bit about our Operation Because They Deserve Better campaign shortly. But the only thing that stands between where we are now and putting veterans in homes is finances and fundraising. And we've got a strategy that we believe that the American people will resonate with and do a little bit on a large scale, a little bit each on a large scale, so that we can do some crazy big things together.
A lot of people, like, they really don't look at like how much it costs to even do one facility, even if you have the grants and even if you have people that are wanting to be sponsors. It really does take a village because there's a lot of aspects that have to be considered. And I think you touched on something earlier that I wanted to quickly discuss before we talked a bit more about your initiative. The one thing that I think is interesting is that a lot of homeless veterans, like, they don't usually even have like any sort of VA benefits that are awarded to them, not because they're not eligible, but because a lot of the times if they were to file for a case, they would send it to an address, but most likely it would be an old address or something like that. And so they wouldn't go to their CMP exams, which is like where you're basically being examined if you do or don't qualify per the VA requirements for that specific compensation. But at the end of the day, like, you giving them that place where they can sit down, get their license, get their benefits, get their DD-214. I mean, even in baby steps, it's something that could not necessarily even just house them. It could change their life. Like I say it often, the difference between 90% and 100% from the VA is over $1,000 a month. That is rent easily for somebody. Yep. And so to even have that, accessibility and capability where they have that address to have it go to, they can get their DD-214, they can get their old medical records, they can reach out to Social Security if required. It's things that, people don't think are important or as important, but they truly are. And please let us know a little bit more about your upcoming fundraising events.
Yeah, just briefly on what you just stated, we've also realized that there are a lot of great people out there that are providing these great services that will walk a veteran through the process, but they don't have a platform, they don't have a location, they don't have the opportunity. So on our base, we will provide office space for the VA. We'll provide office space for other organizations that will walk a veteran through that process. So that partnership that we talked about, we're going to do what the Lord led us to do, and that's to build communities. We'll partner with the other great organizations for training. We've got commitments from Fortune 100 companies that says when you're on your base, we will send our professional training staff to your base to train those veterans. It may not be to try a chicken sandwich or to fix an airplane or to make a soft drink, but their training experiences will allow these veterans to gain skills that's going to be important for them to go out into the marketplace and find gainful employment. So we absolutely agree with you that the disconnect of the 4,500 veteran service organizations that exist today, there's so much more that we could do together if we were coordinated and we had a spirit of teamwork instead of everybody's feeling like there's a sense of competition because we're fighting after the same dollar. And I've said it before. I'd never been in the nonprofit world before, and again, I don't mean this disrespectfully by no means, but when we housed all our homeless veterans, I'm going to go to work on the nonprofit sector because it's absolutely broken. We have been, we've existed for 4 years or so, but 2.5 years, per our IRS designation when we decided, this is what we're going to do, and which disqualifies us for so many grant opportunities because we've not been a nonprofit for 3 years.
Yeah.
So, so many organizations, they don't make it because they can't make it 3 years. And the great people, great ideas, great services die on the vine because of funding. So we'll talk about that later on, but talking about our Operation Because They Deserve Better. In the early days, I would sit across from people who I knew could write checks for $10,000, $100,000 and not miss it. And again, no disrespect to them, but a lot of the response was, well, let me talk to my accountant or let me talk to my wife, or, we're really supporting this other organization right now.
Yep. Get that.
But at one point in time, I made a mention to someone that said, would you join me in giving a one-time $100 donation to help end veteran homelessness in the United States? And the answer was absolutely. He reached in his pocket and gave me a $100 bill. Many times after that, or shortly after that, as I had the opportunity to speak in front of Rotary clubs and in front of organizations, I would ask them, would you join me in giving a one-time $100 donation to help end veteran homelessness in the United States? And before I could thank them for allowing me the opportunity to share with them that day, I had people standing at the podium giving me money, people in the audience on their phone giving donations. So we, as a leader of the organization, I said, I'm going to test to see if people will resonate with this ask. And I said, well, if my network of family and friends who love me, support me, want us to succeed, if they won't do it, then how can I believe that the average American person would? And I overwhelmingly received just humbling, heartfelt, amazing support, raised tens of thousands of dollars in a very short period of time. Our staff did the same. So we believe that so many people, when you get asked to give, you give. And then when you come back and they ask you again and again and again, even though you may really support the organization, you really want to help them, there's a lot going on in life. So we don't want to be that person that goes back to the well over and over and over again. And quite frankly, if I'm being honest, we've got our family and friends, they've given and they've given and they've given and they've given to help us get to where we are today. But we know that's not scalable. But what we do think is scalable is we're going to seek through Operation Because They Deserve Better. We're going to seek 1 million American patriots, just like you and I, average people, whether you served or not served, 1 million American patriots to give a one-time $100 donation. That's Operation Because They Deserve Better. Every podcast I'm on, every conversation I'm in, I ask that person, and Todd, I'm going to ask you before you leave today, I'm going to ask you to give $100 one-time donation to help us eradicate veteran homelessness. And 100% of the people do. No pressure, but 100% of the people do. So we're, so this is our fundraising campaign. But the crazy part is we're going to do it in 100 days. We're going to ask 1 million American patriots to give one-time $100 donation over a 100-day period of time. And we're going to launch it this Veterans Day, November 11th, 2024. So 100 days after 11/11/24, we're going to celebrate the fact that 1 million American patriots gave a one-time $100 donation. The really cool part of this is that through a benevolent organization in Texas, we've qualified for a program that will allow, when we raise $100 million, details, I'm not at liberty to share the details of the details, but we'll qualify for a program that will allow us to stretch that money in a magnificent way, to the extent that we will be able to permanently house 6,720 veterans in homes from which they never have to move, can one day own. So we are super excited about this. And in our discussion on how we market this and how we communicate this, we went through the micro influencer paradigm, the paid celebrity, those kind of things. And we just really never got comfortable with paying someone to do something for our homeless veterans. So we believe that the greatest advocates for what we're doing are the men and women who actually led military organizations. So in November, the week prior to Veterans Day, we're hosting the inaugural Mighty Hero Homes Armed Forces Rival Cup Invitational. It's going to be held at Macklemore Resort. Charlie Reimer, who is a well-known golf personality, is the host of this event. It's a golf event, a competitive golf event, pitting a team of Army versus Navy versus Air Force versus Marines.
Oh, Battle of the Branches, what?
Branches, 12 on each team. And if you're familiar with golf, in a Ryder Cup style event, it'll be a 2-day competition. And through sponsorship, we're going to, we seek to be judicious with our money. So we're not going to have a boondoggle on our donations, but through sponsorship, we're going to provide these 48 individuals a memorable occasion at a magnificent resort on a golf course. It's a brand new golf course. Their second. It's going to be one of the top new golf courses in 2024. So the magic of this is that the evening between the 2-day competition, we're going to have 48 of some of our country's greatest leaders in a room, and through a keynote speaker, and through breakout groups and through a challenge that we'll provide to these leaders, we're going to launch Operation Because They Deserve Better through these influencers. And we're going to ask a subset of these 48 to reach into their Rolodex. I'm dating myself, but go into their Rolodex and find influencers within their organizations. So we're reserving this invitation. We're reserving this for officer level generals, admirals, or distinguished veterans who following their service started successful businesses or are influential in the Veteran Services Organization. So if anyone is interested in one, we're looking for sponsors, and we're not talking holes, the traditional scramble golf tournament that raises a couple $1,000 and $100 hole sponsors. We're looking for this is going to be streamed live through a streaming service.
Okay, nice.
Charlie Reimer, who is an amazing personality, is going to be doing on-course interviews on
Nice.
why are you participating? Why is this important to you? Why are you here? Why did you choose to drive or fly to this area to play in this golf event for the purpose of eradicating veteran homelessness? We've got some amazing sponsors that we're talking to, and I can't wait to. And I hope the title sponsor that we're talking to, I hope they come through. Could be amazing opportunity for them. Certainly amazing opportunity for us. But the following week, that's November 3rd through the 5th of this year, and the following week is Veterans Day, of course, and that we're going to launch. I tell people this, and they smile, and they say, "Man, that's big. That's a big ask. That's a big dream," and it is. But it's not our idea. I'm not smart enough to come up with something that crazy. But we believe the Lord has led us to this. And while $100 million boggles my mind on a personal level, the Lord we serve owns the cows of 1,000 hills, and the money's out there. We got to find the people, and we believe the Lord's already prompting the heart of those who are going to give and those who are going to participate, and we just got to make sure we get the message to them.
So Todd's actually a major. I don't know if you knew that. I probably should have started with that. So we give him a hard time because he was enlisted and then he became an officer. But if you need anyone to drive the golf carts, I could probably talk to Rosie and see if she wants to come with me.
Amen.
She's 98, so she drives wild. Rosie the Riveter, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she may be busy, but I'll definitely, if you have a slot open for a driver of the golf carts, let me know.
We will certainly involve you. Todd, are you a golfer by chance?
I'm not.
You're Air Force. Come on.
No. I just fly planes and race cars.
Whatever,
I like bowling. Sometimes volleyball. That's about it.
I bet you know some Air Force officers who would be interested in this. So
I do.
When you have some time, give some thought to that. My email address is just simply my name, drew.walston@mightyherohomes.org. And anyone that's interested can email me, contact us through information on our website. And we're looking for participants, team captains. So someone on the Air Force that says, I want to lead a team of 12 men and women to play and to win this event, and also sponsors. So
I can reach out to some generals that I know. I did enough of their physicals. I know them well. No.
Good.
I also can reach out to a UFC Hall of Fame coach who's also a Marine. I think he does golf. I can ask him if you'd like.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
To my leadership on base. So.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you don't go. I thought that's not a requirement of being a butter bar. Like you have to be able to golf.
I'll give me a break. No.
I have to give my brother a hard time. But that's amazing that you are doing something like that. And I mean, to truly help people, you got to dream big. Doing small ball stuff doesn't always work. And I've seen nonprofits, the 4th year out of their being founded, they were granted $8 million to help homeless veterans. Don't know where any of the facilities went, but they were granted it. So I fully have faith in what you can do. And I can't wait to see where you're going. And anyone that's interested in the Battle of the Branches event that Drew's going to be doing as let me see. It's a mouthful, by the way. Is that going to all fit on a trophy? The Mighty Hero Homes Armed Forces Cup, like that's a lot.
It's going to be a big trophy.
Smart man. So if anyone's interested in that, or if anyone is interested in looking at sponsorship, or just has questions or wants to kind of see what it's about, go to www.mightyherohomes.org, check it out, and definitely message. I mean, and people that think that, oh, my money's not going to go anywhere. We raised $170,000 with 23 women in 60 days just by doing crazy pageant stuff for Miss Veteran America during COVID when we couldn't actually do stuff. So you can get pretty creative if you need to, and you can help a lot of people. I believe we ended up calculating it because it was like $25 a day to house the woman veteran and their family. I believe it was. I think we ended up paying for over 180 days of safe and suitable housing for the facility just with what we did. I may be slightly off on that. But at the end of the day, you know, your impact and donations truly matter and absolutely can change someone's life. I mean, quite literally, you're taking someone off of the streets or in a hood housing or somewhere that may not potentially be safe for them and giving them access to resources. And what I love is that you have these facilities and you're showing different job skills. You're empowering them outside of just a residence. And it's something that I love seeing how you expand. So are the bases, are you going to name them after military installations or are you going to change the names? I was curious.
We actually do have naming rights. So for someone who gives gifts up to a certain amount, we'll name homes after you. We have a number of homes that have already been named after our donors. Other facilities on base, we have a 6,000 square foot community center. By the way, it's important to note that every $100 Patriot donor, their name will be inscribed on the interior walls of community centers on bases. So when a veteran walks onto the base for the first time and they enter that atrium, on average, there'll be 2,222 names on the walls per community center. So the host will be able to show that veteran, you know, look around, there's 2,000 plus people here who didn't forget you, who love you, and who gave of their personal resources for you to be here. We think that'll be impactful to that veteran and cause that veteran to want to make it when it gets tough over the coming days and weeks and months from being in that new environment. It's such an honor to for people to say, I don't want my name on there. I want the name of my grandfather who served or something like that. So we'll be able to show tribute to people as well as to our donors. But that's important to know. So we're gonna have 1 million names on walls before this is said and done. Yep.
And plus, like the people that are donating, they can really see that their donation helped build that structure. And, there's that sense of, I guess, pride as well that, you were able to be part of an amazing project that, truly changed someone's outlook on things. And I think a lot of us, we lose that sense of purpose when we get out, and to have, a place that's yours and that you can call your own and you don't have to worry about some wild situation. It's more cathartic than I think people realize. And being our own solution to a problem that isn't going away. And it's been clear through many studies that, the VA, there are cracks that the VA don't necessarily have solutions for right now. And you having this and offering this to people and, just continuing after that, I just think it's amazing. I love what you guys are doing. And I mean, $100,000 in 100 days, like that's an amazing goal too for your operation.
100 million.
100 million. Okay. Ooh, I forgot a few zeros. Okay.
Yep.
But honestly, like I want to help you at any way that we can to try to achieve that because it's very, very important. And I mean, like how many installations could that even build? Like that's like a grouping at that point.
Yeah, hundreds. We ultimately have got to house 37,000. So as you mentioned, that's going to allow us to house a little over 6,000. There's 35,000 homeless veterans right now. We think that number is slight. I think there's probably more than 50,000, perhaps as many as 70,000 homeless veterans in the United States. But it's a start, and it's a great start. And we believe that when the model is proven and we are able to have structures that people can come see and smell and touch and feel, and the testimonies of the veterans who are living there will be extremely powerful. We believe people, and I mean this humbly, we believe people will come to us and say, how can we help you financially? How can we put our resources and our blessings behind what you're doing? Because we see the impact. But we, like many other young organizations, and quite frankly, the Lord wired me to compete. He wired me to, make checklists and to monitor progress. And I get frustrated sometimes that we don't already have a lot of bases already established. But when we meet with people, and I say this humbly, I am encouraged by the fact that they say, we can't believe you've accomplished as much as you have in 2 years. We were 10 years before we got to where you are, or we were nowhere near able. And that's just a blessing to us and a testament of the great people that are working on this mission. But there's no give up in us. There's certainly, I had 37 years of corporate America and business ownership experience leading into this. I thought it was to gain wealth or to provide for my family's future and that kind of thing. But I've come to learn that all of those experiences were to prepare me for this, which is other than being the best father I can be and the best husband I can be, is this is my purpose. And the skills that I've gained up to this point is to allow me to do this and to do it successfully.
Well, I can't wait to see where you guys are going. We'll definitely be sending more information about your future at upcoming events. If anyone has any questions or just have issues or concerns with veteran homelessness, please reach out to us, and I'll be happy to connect you to Drew or, anything I can provide through our podcast as well. But I mean, man, I love seeing stuff like this. And you're very right. I mean, I've seen many organizations get wild amounts of funding as you never see the structures, and it makes other people that want to be sponsors or potentially donate kind of question the not validity, but more just the authenticity of the mission that they're giving. And you're absolutely putting your money where your mouth is. You're putting these plans together, and I can't wait to see how this continues to gain traction and momentum. And forgive my light, I don't know what's going on in here. It's just these lights are just having like a strobe show, so I apologize to anybody today.
Well, so it's worth mentioning that one of the benefits of this program, Operation Because They Deserve Better, the opportunity that we've received will allow us to establish an endowment that will allow us after year one to fund all of our operating expenses through the endowment, so that every penny that is given goes to services and goes to building bases. That's a concern of a lot of people, is where is my money going? And we got to pay people, and we've got to pay the light bill and that kind of thing as well. But we're making provisions that we can do that out of funds that are not donated directly by our donors. And we look forward to being able to get to that point where we can openly express our gratitude for that opportunity. But that's an important goal that we have through Operation Because They Deserve Better.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming on and being our guest once again. I love hearing your mission and seeing how everything's developed. And it's been about a year since last time you were on, and you guys have done so much more, and your events haven't stopped. I mean, Drew has been, every month, it seems like he's doing some sort of event, and they're not little events that he's doing. These are big, huge events, either with NASCAR, with his organization, that have fundraisers. He's got boots on ground, quite literally, all the time, working for us. And for us, I guess, in the veteran community, we truly appreciate your efforts and your mission in itself. It's absolutely commendable. So we are going to go ahead and wrap up today. So I'll have everyone do final thoughts, and then we'll play a video as well, the Answer the Call video. So Drew, what are some final thoughts that you would have for maybe someone that's out there that either is dealing with veteran homelessness or just in mindset in general?
Yeah, I simply give the same advice to people that I give to myself, is pray about what the Lord's called you to do, and then be obedient to that call. And if that's to pray for us, we need your prayer. If that's to donate, please donate. If it's to get involved, please get involved. But we have an entire nation of patriots doing what the Lord's called them to do. We are in a cannot fail position. This video that you're about to show, which is narrated by my close friend and our board secretary, Major General Les Carroll, goes to the why that we're doing what we're doing. And I think it'll be impactful.
Awesome. And I can't wait to show it. And Todd, any final thoughts for me, brother? Literally.
Well, no, I'm just I'm in awe of what you're doing. And one thing that really resonated with me and is sticking with me that you said is when somebody calls, like the VA for help, and you're immediately asked, "Oh, what's your email? What's this? What's that?" It just makes you feel like you're just another serial number or service number. It's nice to have just the human connection. Nobody wants to be identified as an email number or something like that. Where's the human value? Where is the compassion and care? And I think that's what you and your organization is bringing, Drew. And it makes people feel that yeah. I'm just kind of moved by hearing all this. I think it's tremendous. I don't know. I'm trying to catch up here, and it's just tremendous. I don't. Yeah, but we'll talk offline, Drew. Yeah. This
Is there a
is
ball
amazing.
happening in the background?
Thank you.
I'm sorry. What?
I'm just giving you a hard time because I'm hearing crickets, and now it sounds like you're.
I'm in the middle of the woods in Pennsylvania. There's a bonfire going. Families here. There's crickets, katydids, you name it. I'm home. This is the first time home in a long time.
Wow.
I was supposed to be here in three days ago, but the truck broke down. So, yeah. But I didn't want to miss this. So.
Well, tell your families we say hello, and I mean, absolutely can't wait to see what you're doing because you've got a lot that you have coming up as well. Thank you for coming on, just even for a few minutes tonight. It's always nice to see you on here, even though I always give you a hard time. But no, absolutely, thank you so much. And I'm gonna go ahead and show the video now. But anybody that has questions, or they want to come on the podcast, or there's just something that you have. You're not sure about that maybe you had heard, please reach out to us. If I don't know, I will connect you to someone who does. I have integrity, I'll do that. And it's just, it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to suffer in silence. I guess that would be mine. So I will go ahead and show the answering the call video now.
The U.S. Army has what we call the warrior ethos, part of our soldier's creed, which says, "I will always place the mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade." This is at the core of the non-negotiable contract that every veteran has made with America, and there is no expiration date. We have an absurd problem in America. Some are being left behind. According to the VA's latest numbers, over 33,000 vets are chronically homeless, with almost as many more perpetually in and out of homelessness. The real absurdity, though, is that after spending billions of dollars over the last 10 years, those numbers have not changed. Despite federal dollars, as well as thousands of great organizations working this problem, we're not making progress in finding a permanent solution in breaking the cycle. Mighty Hero Homes Foundation is proposing a new solution to this seemingly never-ending problem. There are three key tenets of our solution. First, permanent home ownership. We will provide the opportunity for affordable, permanent home ownership in uniquely designed, beautiful gated communities called bases, where veterans support veterans. Each base will have 84 homes that vets and their families can own, not something temporary. Second, veteran readiness. We will team with transitional and temporary housing providers, veteran service organizations, and others to ensure veterans are ready for this next step, to ensure that they have the best chance for permanent success. And once they are on the Mighty Hero Homes base, we will ensure that wraparound services such as healthcare, jobs and job training, transportation, community, and recreation are provided on time and on target right there on the base. And third, we can cut through the red tape. If the federal government hasn't solved this, why do we think we can? Because we, the people, can move mountains when we band together. And we don't leave a fallen comrade. And that's why we will put exceptional effort into engaging the local community around each base to embrace these vets, to personally get involved in restoring them to a right relationship with society. Now, to make a meaningful impact on this problem, we need to build 450 of these bases all over the country. That's a big mission. We need your help. Please join me in this noble effort. I ask for your support in this order. First pray, then give, then get involved. Success in this mission will have generational impact on those vets and the communities in which they live. Homeless veterans are fallen comrades. We must not break faith with these vets being left behind. Please go to mightyherohomes.org to learn more, because they deserve better.
I've seen that video 100 times, and it makes me emotional every single time, because General Carroll speaks truth. It's we have a crisis, we have a solution, and we just need we need a team of people to come along beside us and help us.
Execute. Definitely. He's a phenomenal speaker. He definitely can tell he's a 2-star general. No question. But I mean, everything he said, phenomenal. And yeah, absolutely. I love that. I could definitely watch that a few more times to get all amped up. But thank you for so much, both of you guys, for coming on. I mean, if anyone has any questions, please go to www.mightyherohomes.org. Follow them on their social media, and you reach out, be a part of the solution, not the problem. And, let's help our brothers and sisters in arms and make sure that we can definitely continue to do so. So thank you again so much for coming on tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and have my daughter take us away. But we will have you guys both on again in the future. So definitely stay tuned, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Aurelia. Just a reminder, smash like, hit subscribe, and click the bell. Please give me my mommy some hearts. Yay, veterans!